Hi, Lily. I think your enthusiasm for the celebrity culture and how Warhol works within it and possibly to create it is really smart. But one of the things that I want you to do, and from if you just take a look at the requirements of the essay, is I want you to try to connect it to the origins of pop. So I think Johns lends himself to early Warhol, right? He used the Savern can and Ballantine Ale, the beer. He uses the flag, the flashlight, and he's using and maps. He's using the everyday objects in his art. And so what you can do is link that really nicely to how Warhol uses newspaper imagery. And right, as things started changing in the society, right, canned goods proliferate, you have massive advertising, and with that comes celebrity to sell goods, right? It's all about the selling of goods. And so you start seeing a crossover, right? Marilyn Monroe starts, selling lipstick, in advertising, etc. And Elvis becomes popularized. So I think some of the things that you were working on, thinking about how, the movie stars, the rock stars, end up leading to other celebrity is really the interesting thing. But you connect it to the prior piece, and then also don't gloss over the popness of it, right? Because Warhol's whole work is within the sort of pop movement, and in a lot of ways, he is the signature American pop artist, right? So make sure you're talking about mechanical reproduction. Make sure you're talking about the way he uses repetition and the way he uses the flatness of an image, and you're connecting that to the origins of pop, going back to Johns, perhaps. Okay. And I think that your thesis, which I'm not entirely sure the full direction you want to go in, but I think you can think about how the development of celebrity culture, Warhol is crucial to that, in that he explores the medium, right? So it becomes perhaps a culture of fame, and the medium gets him there. So, for example, when McLuhan says the medium is the message, right? Originally, it was print advertising, right? And so Warhol straddles print advertising and film, because he does start with films. We didn't really talk about it in class, but you've referenced it, right? And Empire, which is, I think, an 8-hour movie, and I would say it's almost boring, of the Empire State Building. It develops a way of looking at a subject. And could it be an influence to reality TV, right? Or we watch people live in an apartment building together? I don't know, but that's great. That's a great arc or something similar that you might want to pursue. Okay, and how we follow each other's stories on Instagram or Snapchat, right? This idea of stories, does that connect to his screen tests, right? Think about it. So those are ideas for you. I want to just be a little critical of your language, right? I appreciate celebrity culture was transforming, and leading the uproar was Andy Warhol. I mean, you're almost making your own advertisement there. Andy did things kind of quietly in a lot of ways, and he very much stoked his own kind of persona and his own celebrity by almost shunning it, but he wanted it, and so that was an interesting thing. And so, for me, the word uproar feels weird. And I think the idea of celebrity culture transforming rapidly, this can be part of your thesis, and how Warhol does that through the medium shifts, right? So he's using certain type of celebrity, he's using print advertising, and then he switches a little bit to film. And then, as as you say down below with Bruno Bischofberger. I've always had troubles pronouncing that. Because he really does push him. And you talk about China and you talk about Mao and how he takes it from Little Red Book. And I think that was really great. That's really great research. And you should definitely go to JSTOR to see if you can pick up more of that. How the sort of transition of fame and celebrity moves from, the Hollywood star to the everyday person, right? Or the political person, not quite the everyday. Every day you would get to perhaps now where a person can go viral and make themselves. I mean, Cardi B might be an example, right? So that would be a sequencing, and it's really a nice idea. And here you write, the artist took the world's long history of craving to idolize and corroded its meaning through colorful portraits of new, more glamorous world. So I might take issue with the idea of more glamorous world. Like, he takes Marilyn, and I don't know if he might take an image of Marilyn that's glamorous and repeat it, and it actually loses some of its glamour. I think be careful between glamour and celebrity. I think Lichtenstein, and I mentioned you might want to use him, Lichtenstein kind of creates a glamour. He's using those comic book images and glamorizes them a little bit. So think about exactly what it is that you're going for. You have options, all right? He changed the definition of the word celebrity. It was no longer a term kept from movie stars and great singers. And I would also use the Campbells and the Brillo as that, connecting it to John's, he makes them celebrities. And then that every day, right? It's the movement towards maybe where we are today with Snap Stories and Insta Stories, right? Is that Campbell's and Brillo kind of harbinger that. They kind of give us our background of like the everyday object, the everyday person could do it. And Andy's screen testing might help you, okay? And maybe you do something, with this idea of Mao was a great example of your 15 minutes of fame. And then where does that take us now? And how did Warhol's use of mediums, right, and his way he used it bring about this? So try not to sell us on it as much as really reveal the progression. Okay, so some sort of little bit of outline is start off with a precursor to pop and how John's subjects could be compared to the Campbells, the Brillo, maybe even the newspaper printouts, certainly Marilyn and Elvis, right? And his mediums, the silkscreen and the film. If you start thinking about the medium as a prime mover for your argument, go back to the week 1 resource, right, on Walter Benjamin's essay on mechanical reproduction, all right? And like I mentioned, I think the way we watched Empire, the way Warhol used film, right, and then also promoted celebrity culture, and he had some kind of also the sexual nature of it. Does that influence where our society has gone in terms of film, okay? And one argument you can make is he's created new avenues for celebrity culture, which I think you are talking about in your draft. And so, you could expand it to the political realm from Mao, and then look at it in our own country. Reagan, Schwarzenegger's not president, but he becomes a governor of California. And he was a Terminator in these movies in the 80s, and he was a bodybuilder in the 70s. And so a body culture, a Hollywood culture, things like that can have influence. Reagan was governor and then president, and he was a Hollywood star. Trump's use of electronic media, he did reality TV. But also with Trump is interesting, right? The medium is the message. You might want to explore the fact that he was the biggest spender on ads on Facebook and reached 13 million, eyes. So that's an interesting thing of how the medium is the message and how what Warhol was doing and advertising was doing. And maybe Andy was just reflecting the culture, and advertising is the big engine that we can talk about. But Andy really, through the use of medium and presenting it to the culture, may have had a greater impact. And I love that as an argument for you. So you could say Warhol is almost an agent of that type of progression to get to our current celebrity. Okay? I think you are going to have fun with it. you really need to do research. Check on JSTOR. I would look for some searches that might deal with Warhol himself, Warhol on film, Warhol and mechanical reproduction, Warhol and celebrity. Those type of searches will really yield the exact arc that you want your essay to take. Okay? As always, questions that you have about this or your essay, just email me. But I think this will help push you in a deeper direction. Because I think the right direction is something you already had landed upon. But this is a little bit deeper. Okay? All right. Good luck with this. I look forward to reading it. Thank you.